Kakawiwi. My name is Barby, and today I'm going to be talking about my good friend Pumpkin. Now, later, when I'm done making my Pumpkin puppet, I will make another video, and Pumpkin and I will sing for you, or something. I'm not really too sure that's what you want, but I suggest you watch it anyway, because I said so. Also, you don't want to piss him off. So, anyways, I love Grady Hendrix. Grady Hendrix is one of my favorite writers of all time. At this point, I have read pretty much every book he has out, except for Satan Loves You, which I will get to. And the only reason I have not read Satan Loves You is because Grady says it's personally his least favorite book that he's ever written. But of his more well-known works, today I will be ranking them. So let me see here. I'm going to go in order of publication. We have Horror Store. We have My Best Friend's Exorcism. What came after that? We Sold Our Souls. Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. The Final Girl Support Group. And more recently, we have How to Sell a Haunted House. So I'll start with my least favorite, which was Horror Store. Look, I hate IKEA. I really don't like IKEA. Every time one of my friends has ever dragged me into an IKEA, I contemplated stapling my head to the wall. Like, just because I thought that would feel better. IKEA is just such a trip. It's an unnecessary trip. I remember at one point I wanted meatballs so bad. I walked around for like 50 minutes trying to find where to get these friggin' meatballs until I just quit. So yeah, IKEA and I are not friends. I like to look at the little displays, like it makes me imagine what if that was a real house, and that's kind of cool, but that's about it. That's the end of the road. Other than that, don't take me to IKEA. I will be very upset. Also, what kind of fucking color scheme is blue and yellow? It's ugly as fuck. Anyways, Horror Store was pretty good. It's set in an IKEA-like type of situation, but it's not exactly IKEA. Obviously, he can't use that word, so he calls it Orsk. Same concept with the whole Swedish furniture thing, except this IKEA is ridiculously haunted. And there's something really bad going on because the walls are getting all vandalized up at night, so the boss is like, hey, I'm gonna take a couple of employees and make them stay overnight to see what's going on. It's all downhill from there. Anyways, I did give this 4 stars, so the fact that it's at the bottom of the list and it's 4 stars should tell you something. It was still an awesome book, but it's just that there was so much going on. It got like apocalyptic at one point, and I just lost my focus. But that being said, I still love it. It's still awesome, and you should still definitely give it a try. So next is We Sold Our Souls. That's my second least favorite. This is about a heavy metal guitarist who, a long time ago, her and her band basically sold their souls to find success. That's not what happened, though. Things just got worse and worse and worse. And I found this one pretty interesting because I love the music scene. I am a metal fan. It was really enjoyable, actually. It was a lot of fun. But there was just this one scene that went on for like 30 pages that pretty much just describes her like climbing out of a trap. And I swear to God, it was so hard to get through that. There is a bit of cheesiness involved in a lot of Grady Hendrix's books, so if you're going to go ahead and read them, you got to keep that in mind. However, it is not like a negative type of cheesiness. It is campy, and that's what he does best. So there is a scene about a rock festival that also kind of put me off a little bit, and there is a character, I believe her name is Melanie, that kind of shouldn't be in it because there's no point. But even these things are not enough to destroy a really good concept, and the fictional band Coffin absolutely had me. I really wish I could drive a car, because if I could, I would totally put their logo on the back of my bumper. Alright, so next up, by the way, that was the last 4 stars. Everything else he's ever done is 5 stars for me. It's just a matter of ranking them. So, my third least favorite, which, I'm sorry, Pumpkin, How to Sell a Haunted House. And it was an almost perfect book. I'm so used to, I think, him expanding on these, like, huge, giant worlds, and, like, we didn't have that many characters here, at least not ones that we got to know very well, but still, it was so much fun, and Pumpkin was so cool, and really, it's just so worth it to read it. It's his newest release. He's currently doing a ton of press for it, and it's available at most definitely your Barnes & Noble, so go support him, because seriously, this is one kick-ass writer. And if you are afraid of puppets, this will scare you out of your fucking underpants. If you are afraid of puppets like my mother is, my mom's afraid of puppets. Hi, Mom. I'm not afraid of puppets, but even I was like, okay, Pumpkin's a little creepy. I don't want him anywhere near me. I mean, now I'm making him, which I guess was his goal. Is Pumpkin real? But you know what I'm saying. It's just so much fun. It really does. It focuses on the real estate market somewhat. It's about these two siblings that their parents pass away in a car accident. And they're like, okay, it's time to sell the house. But the royalties are split so weirdly, and a bunch of weird stuff starts happening with their mom's art collection, which Pumpkin is a part of. And it's not as easy to sell a haunted house as they think it's going to be. So this is gory, and it's fun, and it's brand sparkling new. So again, you should go buy it. And I gain nothing by telling you to do that. It's just simply a very good book. So we only have 3 left now. So we're going to be 3rd place, 2nd place, and 1st place. So 3rd place goes to the Final Girl Support Group. Ironically enough, I'm not really a fan of slasher films. I like them, but they're not that plot heavy, and I like a really big, good story. So this takes the slasher genre and adds so much story to it. I just loved every second of it. So it's a group of, as you may have guessed, final girls who come together to kind of discuss what happened to them, and it treats it as if the movies are real life and that those movies were made about these people. So the names of the movies are changed. Like, instead of Freddy Krueger, we have the Dream King, and instead of Scream, I believe we have Stab. So that is different, but the time periods are kept true. There is an Adrian in there in honor of Adrian King. There's a lot of really cool references to slashers, and there's a pretty good conclusion. It's just such an adventure. This is exquisite character building too, and I really loved every second of it. I have a newfound appreciation for slashers after reading this book, and I think a lot of people will feel the same way. It's crazy, it's twisty and turny, and you end up in so many different locations across the whole United States. It's just such a fun ride, and absolutely worth checking it out. I would recommend it to everyone. I did see him at his press event when he published this, and he signed my book, and I remember I was watching everybody else go up to him and have these full conversations with him. I was preparing to have a full conversation with him. I walked up to him and I nearly peed my pants, so that didn't happen, but he added me back on Goodreads. So hi, Grady, I hope you see this. Thank you. We got 2 more. 2nd place is My Best Friend's Exorcism. This was one of my favorite books for a really long time. I didn't really think a lot of things could top it. It's schlocky 80s fun. We use a real demon from the Key of Solomon here, and that makes it interesting because it's not one of those, like, just, oh, it's anybody. No, he's got a name, he's got a history, and his presence is hinted so many times before we actually get to that point. And so I, in fact, even learned something reading that, which was pretty cool because it's marketed as just this, like, you know, the cover is actually like a VHS tape, which is awesome. That's what got my eye on it in the first place. And it does pretty much read like a VHS tape. It reads like an 80s horror movie. You got everything. You got the girls trying LSD for the first time. You got the one girl coming back from summer camp, having this new suspicious friend she met at summer camp. You got the jealousy, the popularity contest, and the everlasting friendship that even a demonic force cannot break apart. This is probably one of his more famous titles. There was a movie made about it on HBO or Amazon Prime. But I did hear from a lot of people that, like, if you were a fan of the book, it would be really disappointing to watch the movie, so I've had my reservations about watching it. I might try it when I get home, actually, and I'll get back to you on it, but it is one of my favorite books, so I really don't want to see it, to see anything that'll make me unhappy, but that's just the risk we all take as creatives. And number 1, my favorite book by Grady Hendrix is by far The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. So this is set in the same town as My Best Friend's Exorcism, except this time it takes the attention away from the teenagers and puts it on the parents. So this is about a woman named Patricia. She's in this marriage with this guy who just sucks completely, and you'll understand what I mean if you read this book. Actually, fun fact, my grandmother read this book, and one of the first things that she had to say was, wow, that husband is a horror. Because he is. he's probably one of the more scarier things about it. But anyway, she meets a charming new friend by the name of James Harris. But something isn't right. There are a bunch of children disappearing in the middle of the night. She always has to tell James Harris he can enter her house, otherwise he won't come in. What's going on? Something isn't right. He also looks far too young to be the age he claims to be. Is he a vampire? Well, obviously, he's a vampire. But that's the most I'm gonna say. It's so beyond a regular vampire story, and it is a return to disgusting vampires instead of that sexy vampire shit that Twilight made popular. Which is just such a breath of fresh air for me because I am so sick of sexy vampires. This story had me, like, by the balls. I loved the drama between the Southern moms, how petty they all were. There were rival book clubs involved in this. Like, when it comes together, it's just not a world you want to leave. And I swear to God that when it was over, I had such a book hangover. I could not figure out what to read for the life of me. It's probably one of my favorite books in existence. Though not my favorite, which we will discuss at a different time. My favorite is by a different author. But these all come pretty close. So yeah, props to Grady Hendrix for being hilarious and writing the vast majority of my favorite titles. I cannot wait to see what he does next, and I am so sad that I blazed through How to Sell a Haunted House as quickly as I did. Anyways, my name is Barbie. This has been something. I don't really know what to call it. And next time I see you guys, maybe I'll bring Pumpkin with me so he can tell you about his favorite books. They're probably all about murder. Okay. Thank you for watching.